Hello, insurance friends. Thank you for joining us today. I am so excited that you stopped by or that you're watching our replay. Today, the Insurance Careers Movement has the opportunity to talk with the amazing, the incredible, the fantastic Miguel Taveras. Yay! We are so excited that Miguel is joining us today. We first connected with Miguel back at the Emerging Leaders Conference in 2024, so a few months ago when we were in San Antonio, Texas. And Miguel is absolutely amazing. I'm so excited that you're here today to talk with all of our incredible insurance community. But folks, before we dive into a really fantastic conversation on leadership, professional development, we have to start with it is Miguel's birthday in a few days. And so I am so excited that it's your birthday. So I'm going to ask friends right away. I'm going to ask you after our live stream to go to Miguel's platform on LinkedIn and to connect with him and send him a happy birthday wish. And then I'm going to ask you to go and follow Hoopis Performance Network, follow them. And then I'm going to ask you to go to LAAIA and follow them. So those are my three wishes for you for Miguel. So Miguel, before we jump in, can you tell everyone a little bit about your background? You have an amazing insurance background, a little bit about the amazing places that you've lived, and then we'll jump into our discussion.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate, Marguerite, the invitation to have the privilege to speak to your audience and to share a little bit about me and a little bit about what our organization is doing today to help advisors, producers, organizations, companies, associations, leaders all around the world. And we're very excited about that. I started my insurance career as a sales agent in New Jersey back in 1995. So next year to be my 30th year in our industry. My career has taken me from sales to managing an agency and building agencies from scratch, to also working in the home office of various insurance carriers and brokers in developing distribution the majority of the time. I've had the opportunity not only to do it in the United States, but also to do it in Mexico, Puerto Rico, Chile, and we were very, very fortunate with Chubb to start the first Spanish-speaking organization to sell life and health products in the United States. That organization reached more than 1,500 agents around the country, operating 100% in Spanish.
That's so amazing. Like, that's so amazing. So fantastic.
I know, it's quite exciting. And, recently in the last 10 years of my career, I've gotten really involved with associations, leadership associations such as FENSECA, the LAAIA, Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies. And that really has, led me to partner with the Hoopis Performance Network. Harry Hoopis, our founder, has been considering the industry as a very strong developer of leaders.
Right.
Our original partnership was to expand around the world. I can say that after 6 years, we're today in 33 countries.
So fantastic.
More than 8 languages. And it's really great. Really, the reason I am today partner and a part of the Hoopis Performance Network is because we shared the commonality of coming from the field, and being able to lead, organizations at our scale. So we understand, I would say, the ecosystem from the consumer all the way to the underwriters and the service department and policyholder services. And what we want to do is just help to create a easier experience for the consumer, and of course a development experience and environment for all new producers, established producers. And then how do we maximize the potential that many producers have today? So really, really excited to be here and share some of those things and how important they are for, which we believe, for the future of our industry.
Right. Well, I just love your background. It's so exciting to see all the different types of organizations that you've worked for. And again, like, you have such a fantastic view from so many different seats. And then also, I think it's so important, your global perspective, that you recognize the different cultures. And it's so fantastic for our industry to bring in more people into our industry and then to help serve people in their communities in such an authentic way. So I think it's really fantastic. And so I just love everything that you said. And I'm so excited that you're here. So I want to start, friends, that about a month ago, Tony Canis, many of you know him. He's so fantastic with Insurance Nerds. We were on a webinar together, and he was talking about how back in the 2008 financial crisis to 2012, it was such a difficult time economically, in such a difficult time in the insurance industry as well as others, that many organizations either cut their professional development training programs or greatly scaled them back. And then those programs really didn't come back like in a huge way over time. So it's really crazy to think back that those people that were coming into our industry in 2008, 2012, they've continued to progress with their careers, but didn't necessarily have the same support as previous generations. And then, Miguel, I can laugh a little bit, like when I think back to early in my career, like what training and professional development looked like. Everyone was in the same office buildings, and you'd go to a conference room or you'd go to like a large cafeteria, and we'd all hear the same content, and we'd all have these manuals, and you would like memorize things, and there were tests, and it was such a different time. And it's such a different era now, in particular, as we think about post-pandemic. The workplace has changed so much as we're hybrid, we're in person, we're remote, and we're all at different places in our career path. So I'm excited that it's no longer this one size meets all. How are you viewing how performance development, leadership training, personal programming, how has that evolved, particularly right now to meet this modern era that we're in?
So first, a little bit of background on that. If we think back 20, 30 years ago, the only way you would learn something is through the experience of others, and perhaps how
Right.
organizations as APCIA or Limbra or Gamma would prepare,
Right.
programs so that we can share a little bit of what's going on in the industry. Today, we have so many different ways that people can
Mhm.
learn. What's happening is that in adult learning, people like to be self-directed, and they want to make
Mm.
decisions on their own as to what they think they need. But we also need to be
Right.
able to understand that there is a need to know process where people must be conditioned as to why they want to or should learn something. What are the consequences of not learning, and what are the rewards of learning? And when
That's a
we
great
put
point.
that together, we then understand that our carriers, our agencies, and our associations all have a very specific mission. Those individual missions usually have to do, carrier wants to manufacture a very good product that provides all of the safety
Mhm.
that if, in case there's a claim, there's enough for that. But at the same time, stakeholders and stockholders around the organization, just employees and vendors,
Mhm.
everybody's happy. And they're always
Right.
constantly facing a lot of pressures,
Right.
externals and internals. And so the truth is, a carrier has a very hard time coming up with the right content that may be needed for a particular person at a particular time in a particular role. So that's one. Second, agencies are
It's
distributors,
important.
and their mission is to go and find consumers, educate them on the needs that they have, and
Right.
then find the very best product solution, either for the protection or for the
Mhm.
accumulation, if it's just a savings or management of financial assets, and then of course, divesting or different aspects of that way of those organizations. And then associations would like to bring people together to provide resources, experience, and
Right.
connections. But there's a gap.
Right.
Gap is, a specific uh, micro learning, just in time, relevant content that people need when they need it. And so there's many examples I can give. We don't have all the time for that. But let's start first with brand new people coming into our distribution
Mhm.
programs, which is agents, right? Well, agents get licensed, so they know all the technicals and all the
Mm.
regulations that they need to. And
Right.
then they learn a product or two and that kind of thing. And perhaps then they got to learn to run a business. But one of the toughest challenge they have is daily asking themselves is, what do I need to learn today that I can do to help the
Help.
consumer
Right.
have a better experience, so that I can help them see that working with me
Right.
will actually be a high benefit and high value. those are competencies that are not learned through technical knowledge or
Right.
through
The gap.
taking a course from one of our amazing designations. I have two,
Mhm.
as you can see on the bottom. These are things that you got to learn through what others have lived through, and then
Mhm.
they share it. I always use this analogy. One thing is to know the recipe of a dish, and another one is to go get all the food and get in the kitchen and cook it.
Right.
So that is very important. Now let's go to a carrier. A carrier has so many people within a home office.
Right, and it's massive, right, across so many job functions, right.
They really do, and a lot of times they're really well known, for being able to teach people how to complete the tasks, and they're
Mhm.
good at their jobs. They're very good at their jobs. But in many cases, when you ask someone in policyholder services or in underwriting, what problems do we solve for people? They don't know. They just do their job. Even when they're at a gathering with friends and they're asked, "So,
Mhm.
what does your company do?" "Oh, I don't know. I just really make sure I buy this product." You know, and
Sure,
so
sure.
we have seen that gap, and thus we've created a program called Host, Home Office and Staff Training Program. We go to staff training because many agencies use it as well. And what it really does, it tries to give a perspective of who's the consumer, what do they face, why do these products exist, when is it important to bring up the conversation, and it goes from personal lines to
Right.
commercial lines to life insurance to disability to homeowners, and even to retirement. Why? Because all of these things are connected. We have a client today that faces, if you
Right.
will,
So much.
a disability, and they're also a business owner with a liability coverage. Well, if they become disabled permanently, guess what's going to happen to that liability coverage? It's out. It's done.
Mhm.
So why not, consider learning enough or partnering with others that we can try to holistically take care of our consumers. At the end, that's really the end
Right.
game is how do we help consumers the most? And so that's why we've created all the programs that we have. We have programs and training that facilitate the opportunity for carriers, agencies, associations to fill in those gaps.
That's
And one of the great
fantastic.
things is because we have been in home offices, we have started operations internationally. we
Right.
we understand
You've seen, right, you know
the
how it
the
works. Right.
flexibility you got to have,
Right.
while at the same time, where are the guardrails
Right.
to stay really consistent? And that
Right.
really helps carriers achieve twice as much in half the time.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay, so that was all fantastic, and I gotta go back, Miguel, and call out what you said at the very beginning, how you talked about how it's really important, insurance friends, for the point that he made about having employees understand the rewards and consequences of professional development, and I think that's a really great point, particularly in this era of some employees working at home, some having hybrid situations, some in office, and I have the opportunity to work with so many incredible insurance organizations around the globe. And what I really love is seeing how companies are working so hard to provide so many really rich, really deep training, professional development opportunities, but they're also really having great conversations with employees about owning your own career path. So they can put the tools out there, but then people need to figure out how to really harness and leverage the opportunities that are before them. So I think that's so important, that it's not just up to the employer, it's also up to the employee, and it's everyone coming together to really seize the opportunities and to recognize the valuable assets that are out there to help you develop professionally as well as personally. Okay, so we've talked a little bit as well about the changing environment we're in, this modern world. So I just want to talk like concrete for a minute. So we all are working just at such a fast speed in our jobs. There's such pressure. Again, the whole economic environment is very intense. Companies are working in a very lean manner. People have so much on their plate, plus their personal commitments as well. So many people are involved in community initiatives, activities with their families. They're giving back in so many different ways. So how do you fit in micro learning though? Because like I know for me, like I am trying to always figure out where can I plug things in. And I think that's what's exciting about micro learning. So I'm going to ask you to talk logistically, because for me, I'm always like, where can I squeeze in something that's going to be high value, that's going to help me grow and develop? But I'm also recognizing that there's like 80 things on my plate. So how does micro learning really fit in someone's day-to-day life?
So, great question. Our minds are very powerful and they can grasp a tremendous amount of information from visuals. So, we have learned from a recent study conducted by LinkedIn Learning that when a person sees a minute of video, it equates to 1.8 million words that they would have read. So,
Wow, that's a great stat.
so if you think about it for a minute, when a person is able to watch a video, we know they're going to grasp a lot more.
Right.
The
Right.
second thing that's really important to also keep in mind is that the average employer, according to a study by Forrester, only has available 5 minutes daily to pick up something that can help them do their task more effectively and more efficiently.
Wait, you
So
need to say that again because I need to make sure. Okay, insurance friends that are watching right now, I'm going to ask them to repeat this because this is a crazy stat. You got to say it again, Miguel. It's amazing.
the available time for learning something to improve upon tasks that you have per day is about 5 minutes. And because of what you said. In other words,
Right,
what you're
right.
saying is right. So how do we take care of this? Well, number one is as because of those stats, the Hoopis Performance Levels focuses on creating micro learning videos, and these videos are very focused on, you know, providing a specific, quickly why you want to learn, what do you have to learn, and then how to action. And it tries to call you out. Do something about this today. Put it into action today. The best
Wow.
example I can give you is YouTube. When our garage breaks down and doesn't want to open,
Right.
most people, the first thing we do today is go to YouTube, put the brand,
Right,
and
right,
something comes up. That is micro learning. Is also just in time learning.
right.
Just in time means that I actually go find what I need to know today based on the what I'm facing. So let's talk about someone who is going to meet with a client for the very first time, and this client offers an array of opportunities. Well, perhaps I
Right.
can go in and take a little bit of time of what is the art of asking questions, or what is the art of report, and I can look at a 5 minute video that could
Wow.
give me 3 or 4 things that I can employ right now, and that makes a big difference. But it's also the same thing if I am new to the insurance business and I want to know what this means. I could just take a look at the videos. What are the risks consumers face today? And it may just give you a nice overview of the different things they face when it comes to disability, financial planning, retirement. What do 401ks exist? How does Social Security work? In fact, they may learn something important for themselves. And I
Wow.
think those things make a really big difference. I'll say one more important point on this, and it's the following: is that it's been proving that when someone actually learns with micro learning burst, because
Mhm.
this comes from NASA, by the way. NASA started this in the 60s, training astronauts. You can't take out a notepad when you are up in space.
Right,
You
right,
have
right.
to have muscle memory. So they did a lot of micro, very short
Mhm.
pieces of tasks so they would remember it. uh, what this ends up doing is that it has provided a 17% increase on the performance of that task. So
Wow.
all of these
That's so
different things,
great.
it is, and all these things, what they do is they truly help the person feel like they're really be doing something well, which creates for that task to be more impactful. And let's just think about the thousands of tasks that are performed in an organization every hour. And if we
Wow.
can help for every one of those to be better, what kind of productivity increase we would have? More
Right.
importantly, what kind of satisfaction to the careers of those people would we bring? And this is what creates more engagement, more
Mhm.
retention, and more importantly, for what you do, future leaders, people that learn
Right.
to take control and through these learning sessions to develop where they're headed. And by the way, I use that example. We have examples for leaders that manage
Right.
large organizations, for
Right.
agencies that are large, also for home office employees, you name it.
That's so great. Okay, so I have to start too with because micro learning, it's such the hot trend and such, but in my mind, I was still thinking with micro learning that it would be like an hour session because like in my mind, I'm thinking old school, like, okay, you go sit in a half day training session somewhere. And so I'm like, oh, okay, so they're not going to have us go sit in a conference room for all day or half a day. Maybe you're going to have me watch a video for an hour. And then in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I can't squeeze in an hour. Like there's so many meetings, there's so many things to do. But 5 minutes, everyone can work in 5 minutes. Like you can work 5 minutes into your day somewhere. So that is really fantastic. And then so exciting as well to hear about how you have sliced and diced the content to such precision. I love how the intentionality that you can find exactly what you're looking for in that moment. And I think that is really powerful, particularly in this modern world. And then also, as I think about, we talk about all these different generations. And so you're exactly right when you brought up YouTube about how the generations that are progressing through our organizations have grown up as such digital natives. So they're used to going to YouTube. They're used to being able to find exactly the information they need within seconds. And so as an insurance industry, we need to be providing our training that our employees can find it just as fast. And so that's really exciting to see how you're creating that system where we can mimic experiences that they've learned and show success. So I think that's really transformative. Like that's really exciting learning. And then also I've got to touch on, you talked about all of the value, and you and I have talked before about employee engagement and past emerging leaders conferences. Like, how do we keep our employees engaged? How do we help them feel valued? That the company is recognizing them as an individual, is investing in them. So this is really exciting because I think it hits all of those areas. Okay, I'm going to shift for a minute, and I also think it's super exciting how you provide resources in multiple languages. So could you talk a little bit about that? Because that is also really just exciting.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes. So what we have been looking and finding in our years, and by the way, the Hoopis Progress Network actually is going to celebrate our 50th year this year. So we're very excited about that. And what we have noticed all around the world with our clients, and when we listen, and in our partnerships with associations as well, is that there are very common issues being faced all over the world.
Right.
And when we have seen that, we said, okay, so a lot of our content, it's relevant, in all of these different situations. And that has helped us to come up with ways to translate our content. So many of our content has the capability to press a button and choose French, Italian, Spanish, as well as Mandarin, Chinese language as well, Indonesian. And then we also have actual fully translated products. One of our largest clients is a bank in Thailand that actually uses a program that we've co-produced and we co-own and manage with LIMRA, the Life Insurance and Marketing Research Association. And it's used in the bank assurance space, and which we don't do that much here, but in the rest of the world, they're still selling insurance through the bank channel. And so this has really been very helpful. And what's awesome about it is these type of programs are based on behavioral economics, not on product. So while this is a bank insurance organization that sells life, disability, and health products, they also sell home, auto, and things like that at the bank. And so the techniques that are taught really do help. One point that's really important with all our clients, we try really hard not only to provide them with content, but we have a very friendly platform that is easy to use, accessible from a cell phone, from a tablet.
That's great.
24/7 available. And that's important. We have the capability. Do you only want it in Spanish? Well, you can have it just in Spanish.
Wow, that's great.
We also have in-person training programs that are short, couple of 3 hours, so it doesn't take a lot of time that requires travel and things like that. We also teach facilitators in agencies and in organizations so that they learn how to facilitate the program. So it breaks it right away. Doesn't need for somebody to travel and you got to pay all these expenses. And
right.
It can be conducted locally, easy, just
so great
time. And the last thing I'll say on that is we also create very nice and easy programs to follow. I'll give you an example. We teach many new people. Take 15 minutes a day at whatever best time of the day works for you, morning, evening, afternoon. And in that, just put in the bar, the address to the tool, whatever the tool is, YouTube, LinkedIn.
Right.
It doesn't, Hoopis, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And ask yourself this question: what do I need to improve today for the performance of my team, my company, my client, whatever it is. And that
That is fantastic.
because it starts to teach self leadership. It starts to teach self direction. And when I find that, I'm going to be able to figure out who has the best content for that. But that's not enough. We also have to engage in these important questions. What am I willing to do? Because if we don't take action from what we learn, then all we do is learn to know. We have to take action so that it can become a habit. And then the following question I always like to coach them to ask themselves, and we do this with all our clients we work with. So, in other words, we bring coaching along with bringing our products. We also teach them to ask themselves, what results do I want? What improvement do I
Right.
see? This motivates people, because if they see
Right.
improvement or more, then
Right.
it helps them. If they don't, they can go back and say, what was it that I didn't apply from what I learned?
Right. Right.
And keep them humble. What else do I need to learn on this subject to keep getting better?
That's
Because
so fantastic.
we don't want to ever feel like we've learned it all.
Right. Right. Right.
And all these things really do help, believe it or not, and they work in every culture, in every
Right.
language.
Right.
Why? Because it's based on human behavior, and not on any particular culture, if you will.
That's so fantastic. Okay, insurance friends, there was so much that he said. I just love it all. So I'm going to ask if you're watching live now with us or the replay, that you also commit to the 15 minutes a day that Miguel just described. So I think that is so fantastic. And so I'm asking you to commit to the 15 minutes a day. What do I need to improve? That was so fantastic. And I also love how you tied it to developing your self-leadership skills, your self-direction, and you're training yourself to be that high performer. That's so fantastic. In 15 minutes, we can all fit that in at some point during the day. And again, you just described so many easy ways to be able to develop and learn and grow. That is so phenomenal. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then last point on the learning in multiple languages, I also love, we've talked so much, Miguel, and with our friends at LAAIA and NAIA and Spencer and APCIA and just Jacobson, AM Best, we've all talked about how do we expand opportunities for others and providing learning and development tools in people's, like in different languages. Like, I think that is so valuable to help people see that they are being seen and heard in their own cultures. It's just so fantastic. So thank you for highlighting that. That's really wonderful. Okay, so we're going to shift gears. And one of the things I love about the insurance careers movement is that we get to work with so many incredible organizations, and we so appreciate all of our industry partners. And we've been able to work with LAAIA for several years now. We had Lisette, she was part of our virtual Emerging Leaders Conference during the pandemic. Javier came and spoke. You came and spoke this year. So if people are not familiar with the Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, could you tell everyone a little bit about the organization and how they could be involved?
Absolutely. So the first thing is, you might be surprised to hear that this is an association that is going to be celebrating their 54th year this year. This association was created in Miami by 5 Spanish-speaking Cuban Americans that felt like they did not have representation at the state level. So their first focus was advocacy, but also to try to make sure they can bring in collectively production and achieve having more appointments with organizations. It's evolved to an amazing organization today that's working in 6 different chapters. We have the Broward County in South Florida. We have the Miami chapter, Atlanta, Houston, Texas, and Houston was able to have a little baby up in Dallas. So we have
yes, right? That's so great.
And then we just launched Denver.
Yes, so fantastic.
Colorado. And we're very excited about that. And I think LAIA really focuses on the following. It's truly bringing together everyone that works with the Latino market,
right?
Which means everybody. In a way, if you think about it, we have 1 in 5 consumers in the United States that is Latino. And so what we want to make sure is learn and know how to create that relationship. The sales process is different with the Latino culture because there's a little bit of that. Get to know me. Let's have a cup of coffee. Let's have a margarita. I really want to get to know you.
Right.
But what's really impressive is if you earn the trust of any Hispanic consumer, because that Hispanic consumer will be loyal and will stay with you for a very long time. And that because of that same
that
trust,
relationship, right? The trust and the relationship, right?
To do that. And so I'm really proud to say that we have, half of our members are non-Hispanics. but they are Latino at heart.
Oh, that's
Okay?
so great. That's so
And
great.
and what I have heard from all of the people that I've worked with, we've been able to build relationships with over 50 sponsors around the country. We even have international companies that are sponsors of ours today. And what I've learned from them is they love the energy
Oh,
and they
that's
love
great.
the focus that we have in truly developing skills
Right.
through resources and partnerships, and then how we are very close at building relationships. And
Mhm.
if you really want to have a great time, you want to go to these conventions because they do involve dancing, playing, chatting. Our next convention is from August 21st through the 24th. It's the power of partnership. We are partnering with many organizations
Mhm.
like APCIA. We recently entered an agreement with Finseca as well, and others as the big eye as well. We're working with them, and why? Because we bring in that little important part of
Right.
creating attraction so that anyone feels
Right.
comfortable enough to enter the room, so
Right.
that then they can see that everyone in this amazing industry, it's really awesome. And we talk a
Right.
lot of diversity at the LAIA. We do, but we don't like to say we're going to change the room. We like to say we're going to expand the room. And the reason why that's
Oh,
important is we
great.
don't want anyone to feel threatened.
Right.
That's,
They wanna feel
plus,
welcome. They wanna feel a part. They wanna feel welcome. They wanna feel a
not
part.
only that, let's think about someone who's been 25, 30 years in
Mhm.
this industry and they have a tremendous amount of experience. And we bring a brand new Latino person. The biggest thing we want to do is create a collaborative environment
Yes. Yes,
so that
that
they can,
support.
so that there's partnership. We can't just go ahead and take someone that's been 30 years and put someone with no experience and no mentorship.
Right. Right, you wanna set them up for success. You wanna set people up for success. Right.
So the LAIA does monthly meetings. We do Spanish programs as well. We do virtual programs. It's really amazing when we do our virtual programs and they are in multiple language. We get
So
people from
great.
Argentina to join
That's
us.
so
And
great.
it's
I
really
love it.
exciting. We do have partnerships with great speakers as
Mhm.
well that understand our business really well. And I couldn't, be more grateful to all our sponsors. And you know who you are.
Yes,
Thank
with
you
so many great partners. Right.
for helping us. But I think the best way to get involved is first become a member. Go to LAIA, either Houston, LAIA Denver, LAIA Atlanta, whatever, or LAIA
Right.
National, and just
Right.
become members. The cheapest membership there is $225
So
for
great.
the year. But yet, that is going to help us continue to help those Latino agents that are brand new
Right.
to business 3, 4, 5 years that have no
Right.
idea how to get in
Right.
contact with APCIA. Have no
Right.
idea about Spencer. Have no idea about
Right.
Jacobson. Have no idea about AM Best. And,
Right.
and they can build these relationships and that they're welcomed and
Yes.
included, but they don't know. And
Right.
so the LAIA becomes that little place where locally, let me go to this meeting. Oh my God, I met so many amazing persons.
Right, right, right.
And you
The
should go to the
connections, so
conference,
many great connections.
and
Right.
you meet other people, and all of a
Yes.
sudden you feel empowered, which actually
Right.
helps to provide the consumers with that experience we're talking about.
Ah, that's so great. That's so great. Okay, insurance leaders, I am going to, when we reshare our phenomenal chat, I am going to put the LAIA, the LAAIA website in the comments. I'm also going to put the convention agenda. And as Miguel shared, the agenda is amazing. I was talking with Javier about it last year, and Mirabelle, I got to give a shout out to Mirabelle. She's so fantastic, helps with everything. The agenda is just amazing. And I know the National Alliance was there last year, and Spencer and Rise, our friends over at Rise. There's so many great organizations, and everybody is collaborating and they want to be a part together, which is so inspiring. And everybody wants to help expand opportunities and help others succeed. And I just love it. We're so fortunate to have such an amazing network and an amazing group. So I will put all of that in the comments below so you can quickly click through and connect with people. I'm going to remind everyone of my birthday wish for Miguel. If you will go to LinkedIn and connect with him, wish him a happy birthday. If you will follow Hoopis on their LinkedIn page as well. And then if you'll also follow a LAAIA, that would be fantastic. Okay, so Miguel, my final question to you, it is, since it is your birthday, birthdays are about reflection and then wishing things for the year ahead. What would you wish for the insurance industry for the year ahead? What would be a wish you would have?
Thank you for that amazing question. It would be to really think that we have consumers out there today that still do not have the proper coverage. We have so much gap
Mhm.
in the products that people carry, because a lot of times as agents we don't know enough of the particular risks that are
Mhm.
being faced by people in particular geographies. For example, I live in Houston, Texas. Houston is one of the worst places to own a home. Why?
Right.
It's built on swamp land.
Right.
There's
Right.
problems with foundation. We get cold freezes. We get really hot summers. So the house
Right. Right.
suffers through a lot of things. Also, what year the house was made? Does it have, old piping,
Right.
piping? What kind of, and the more we learn that there are riders and parts for that, it's
Mhm.
important. I'm giving that example, but if I go to life insurance, did we know this? Hispanic households are the least insured in the country, yet
Wow.
they're the highest income per year growth that we've ever seen in the last 20 years. Today, the average household is $160,000. So these are not
Wow.
people that
Right.
not save for retirement or
Right.
have the proper protection
Right.
product they passed on. And again, I'm referring to that. But what about all the businesses
Right.
out there that perhaps don't write the right limit of liability and have not really taken a look at additional risks that have come up
Right.
recently due to increased crime, for example,
Mhm.
or due to an external
Right.
circumstance. So these things are really important, and I think that if the insurance industry this next year
Great
just
point.
focus on the consumer and the gaps that they have, we can do a great job. Last comment about my birthday. For the last 15 years, I have been counting my birthday wishes. So you have no idea how serendipitous this is for me, because you have been able to ask people to wish me happy birthday, which is going to increase the numbers. So I'm excited.
So, friends, I need you. So, wait, Miguel, wait, I got to pause. I totally agree with what you were saying about coverage and that we need to really focus on that. So I hope that birthday wish that we can make an impact on that. I thought that was
That'll be
great
the best.
insights. So that was really fantastic. Friends, insurance colleagues, help spread the word about Miguel's birthday. Flood his comments with birthday wishes. That would really be amazing. And then most of all, Miguel, I just have to thank you for your leadership in the industry and your passion for our industry, your collaboration. It is just absolutely fantastic. From the first time you and I talked, where I'm like, hey, do you want to come to San Antonio? You have just been a champion of people in our industry and wanting to help people thrive and succeed. I just am so appreciative of your leadership. You are such an amazing person, such an amazing leader, and I'm so grateful that you're part of the industry. So that's
Thank
all I have for today. Any other comments from you before we log off from our LinkedIn Live?
Thank you.
Well, thank you. All right, insurance friends, thank you so much for watching us today live or in the playback. How you can help us is you can share our video and ask people to take a watch and learn about our great conversation about learning and professional development in a modern era. I thought it was a really exciting conversation and super energizing. Miguel, thanks for all the great advice. Thanks for tuning in. This is it for today's LinkedIn Live with the Insurance Careers Movement. We hope to see you soon. Thanks, everyone. Happy birthday, Miguel.
Thank
Bye.
you. Take care, everyone. Thank you.